What's up? What's up? What's up? It's John here from JJSC Tech, and hopefully you're having a good Sunday. Hopefully you're chilling with your family. My voice might sound a little different because I have a little cold, a little sniffle, but hopefully my voice isn't really crazy. Yeah. So today I'm gonna go through my live stream setup, like what I got here, and we're gonna try to break it down bit by bit of the gear I use, why I use it, and how it all comes together. Hopefully I don't sound too nasally, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're streaming in 3 locations today. We got the YouTube land, we got the Twitch folks, and I'm streaming on Kick as well. Yep. Good old Kick. All right, so let's do the first thing. How do I get this look? So 3 things: lighting and camera, as well as a little tweaking inside of the streaming program that I use. So the first thing is the camera that I use. It's a cool webcam. I like this webcam. It's one of the best webcams that I have ever used. Hold on, because I am trying to play with this Black Magic, and I was trying to play with that app that I can draw on the screen live, but it wasn't working for some reason. So yeah, we just gotta figure it out. All right, let's cut to this. So this is the webcam that I love using. This is the Canon C200B. So the difference between the Canon C200 and the Canon C200B is that the B comes with nothing. You just get the body, a battery, and that's about it. Yeah, so I got this. It's pretty light. It looks a little beefy. But it's light. And the lens right here, this is the Sigma, what is this? Hold on, this is a Sigma 24-35 f2. Pretty good lens. And how I'm running this is I put it directly into a ATEM right there. Move this mic out the way. Don't fall on me. Yep, this ATEM right there. And that's the ATEM Extreme SDI. And yeah, SDI directly from the Canon right into that ATEM right there. And that's how I do the switching between the main camera and the camera that I'm using right now to showcase the other stuff. Okay, so that's the camera, and let's go to the light. Now this light is like, it's a ring light. Crazy ring light. Yeah, it's kind of cheap. I got it from Amazon. It works pretty well. I got no problems with it. It does the job at lighting me up, and yeah, I mean, use what you got. Use whatever works for you. This space is kind of too small for a big old aperture light and a softbox, so the ring light with a little bit of settings, it works pretty well, I must say. And that ring light is at like 22%. 22%? I don't know. It's not that high. Yeah, and what it's doing, it's serving as a practical light. So I have this big old window right here next to me, but it's not enough light to light my face, so I use a practical light to kind of fake that I'm getting lit up by an outside light. It's working well. It works fine. All right, next up. These 2 lights right behind me. So this light is a Philips Hue. It's like $300. It's pretty expensive. The story about this light is that I moved in to this space, and then this space didn't have any lights whatsoever because I already used the Philips Hue bulbs. I had that at the other location, but this location didn't have any type of light sockets inside the ceilings. So I had to get a kind of like a lamp or a standing light. So I went with this. And since I already had the Philips Hue, I was able to control it with the app and etc. You know, make life a little easier. And this light over here, this is my Aperture Infinibar. And I'm going with the orange and teal type of thing. You know, it looks pretty good. It works for me. You know. So yeah, those are the 3 lights that I use. Those are the only 3 lights that I use to light up this space, and it's kind of working in my favor, I must say. All right, so that's the camera and that's the lighting. Those are pretty simple things. Now, the difficult thing, what a lot of people been asking me about, the sound. How do I get my sound to sound like this? Broadcaster, so clear, so clean. They got low end, you got high end. This is a little complicated. It's a little complicated. It's mad high here. I ain't gonna lie to you. So, but before we get to the sound, let's kind of go back to the light. Now, if you have a ring light and it's too harsh for you, you can get something like a probably go to the store and get like a beach curtain. Something that's a little frosted, and just put it over the light, and it'll kind of like diffuse that. You know, that's a cheap hack of for diffusing that ring light. Another thing you could do is get like maybe a pillowcase, because ring lights aren't that huge. Or you can get like a diffuser. You know, like if you go on Amazon and you get those people are texting me. If you go on Amazon, you get like those small little diffusers. Hold on, let me show you. Instead of me yapping, let me show you. Let me change up the scene real quick. Boom. Yes, sir. Let me shrink this real quick. Boom. Badoom. Bring this in a little bit. Make sure you can see the entire screen. Gucci. Okay, so cool. So you go to Amazon and you type something like diffuser. This depends on the space that you have, you know. Okay. What is that? A light diffuser. Something like this. You know? Now this might be a little expensive, but anything like this to cut down the light, and then you can crank up the light a bit higher, and you'll get that nice soft look. You might have a little spill. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about. It comes in a set, 5-in-1, and you get your transparent diffuser, and you get some reflectors, and you get like negative fill and all that stuff that you get. You know, it's a simple hack, and you can use this in front of whatever light you have, and it could work for you. That's if you're on a budget. Now, yeah, this is if you don't have the room for Aperture Amaran, or Aperture LS, and a big old diffuser box. So yeah, that's a small little hack. Okay, and let's get to the program that I use. Now the program that I use is Ecamm Live, and Do I have preview mode? Nope. Okay. So I didn't put a shortcut for that. Oh, there it is. Live demo mode. There you go. All right, cool. Now you should be able to see my entire screen. Good. All right. So it's mad hot all of a sudden. In Ecamm, you have your screen right here. This is how I see myself and I see what's going on. And at the side, you have a whole bunch of scenes. This is how you build the presentation or the live stream. This is how I flip between different type of scenes that I made. And I have a Stream Deck as well, and that's how I control stuff. So let me show you the Stream Deck. Move this mic out the way. Yeah, so that's the Stream Deck right there, and that's how I'm able to do a ton of switching all back and forth in the scenes. So yeah, Stream Deck, I had this like 2 years and I'm now finally using it. So yeah, get a Stream Deck. It's gonna make your life way, way easier. And let me make sure I set that camera up properly. Yep, and right here, hopefully you guys can see this. Let me zoom in. So right over here is where I manipulate the brightness. So I get the scene. So even if your camera and your lighting isn't all of that, if you get Ecamm, you can do some manipulation of the lighting and how it kind of like wraps around you. And yeah, hold on. Okay, cool. Yeah, I also have a LUT on here. So the LUT is very important because with this LUT, it causes me to get this type of warm type of look. So for instance, let me just remember my settings, because if I mess anything up, I'm gonna look crazy different next week. Okay, my LUT is 28. So if I turn this off, this is how it looks. Now see, the back is completely blown out and it doesn't look the same way. You know, the color isn't the same. But with the LUT, you can have, see how the shadows are coming in and how the light, it was harsh on my face right here, but how it's like gently rolling off. Yeah. So that's with Ecamm. Make sure I set this to 28 because 28 looks fine. Okay, cool. And the gamma. Now the gamma is very important. I got this set to -4. So if this gamma was 0, it's slight, but you see, it can make it really washed out or it can make it really dark. So you got to play with this to get the right look. Saturation, you know, you can make it overly saturated like a Sony camera. I'm sorry, that's unnecessary. You can make it overly saturated or you can make it undersaturated. So depends. And my tint is like 5. You can make it a little magenta or a little green. We go back to 5. And my temperature is -2. You can make it really warm, really cold. You can do all this live. And -2. And my brightness is 7. So if your scene is a little dark like this, you can brighten it up in Ecamm. You know? So yeah, all 3 of those things helps to make this image. You know, I got the light, which isn't all that, but with Ecamm and this LUT, I can help shape it to make it look a little bit more professional. I mean, the camera is no slouch. It's a C200, a really good webcam. I mean, it's like really, really good, top-notch webcam. It's 4K as well, true 4K, because everything that says it's 4K isn't really 4K. It might be doing some upscaling and etc. And it has a really good sensor, a Super 35. So bigger the sensor, more light comes in, more definition, more detail, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, and I have sound effects. So I have a whole bunch of sound effects in Ecamm as well. So
nice.
You know, hopefully you guys heard that.
Nice.
Yeah, so anytime I'm showing you something like this webcam and this lighting, it's really
nice.
Yes, sir. So yeah, that's about it with Ecamm. That's what I use Ecamm for. Let's get to the sound. Well, a lot of people been waiting for the sound. Now the audio is pretty technical. Now you don't have to go this route. Please don't go this route, because if you're just going this route just to live stream, something's wrong with you. I ended up doing all of this because trials and errors. Trials and errors. I went down a road that I wasn't supposed to go down so soon, and then I got stuck. Yeah. So let's get to the sound. What do I use for sound? Well, the first thing is the microphone. So the first thing is this microphone right here. The microphone that works for me, that works for my voice, is this right here. Okay, that's the U87. Now, let me lock this in place. Now this is a good mic, a really good mic. It's an OD mic, like for real OD. If you're not a professional singer, if you're not an audiophile, man, forget all that. If your room isn't treated, I don't recommend this mic. This mic is like what, $3,500, $3,600. Now, mind you, I do have this Shure SM7B. I was using the Shure SM7B for a while, but I didn't like how it sounded with my voice. It made me sound a little nasally, even though I was doing EQs and etc. But this mic tend to be more true. My voice sounds much better on this mic. I get a better low end, high end, blah, blah, blah. And plus this room is partially treated. Now, this mic isn't everything. This just because you have a U87 doesn't mean you're gonna sound wonderful. No, you have to do some stuff. So that's where my audio interface comes into place. Well, before I get to the audio interface, cable. So let me put this down a little bit. Now, the cable is very important. It doesn't make any sense you're buying a really expensive microphone and a really expensive audio interface and a $10 Amazon. Do you see that chromatic aberration? Is it me or? Huh. What's that? Is it this lens? I'm sorry. Anyways, like I was saying, it doesn't matter if you're buying a really expensive microphone and then a really expensive audio interface and then a $10 cable to connect the two. It just doesn't make sense. The reason why is a lot of those cheaper XLR cables aren't shielded. So you might be hearing a lot of buzz and yeah, it's not good. So to have the cleanest sound, get a proper cable. Now this cable is Mogami Gold. The reason I got this was because of my video, Mogami Gold versus Canary Star Quad. if I knew about Canary Star Quad before I knew about Mogami Gold, I would have just stick with Canary Star Quad. But since I bought this a while ago, I'm keeping it. I mean, it sounds good. It's shielded the same way. It's a really good, rugged cable. The same thing with the Canary Star Quad as well. Yeah. So if you don't have the means to purchase a $95 cable, just don't do it. Buy a Canary. Canary is like $26, and it kind of does the same thing. 90% of the it does the same thing. Okay, so let's go to the audio interface. Now the audio interface that I use is right there, the Apollo X8. Now the X8 wasn't the first one that I used. I think this LUT is messing with this lens. Yeah, right here. This is the X8. Now the X8 wasn't the first lens. I mean, the X8 wasn't the first audio interface that I bought. The first audio interface that I purchased was actually a Apollo Solo, Universal Audio Apollo Solo. Then I was using that. Then I realized that the amount of plugins that I have, this thing isn't powerful enough. Then I went to the X2 or the Twin X, the Apollo Twin X. Let me see if I can get it in the shot. It's right there. I don't know if I can pull it out because it's kind of tucked away in there. Nope, can't. You're just gonna have to trust me. That's a Twin X right there. So this was the second one that I used, and then I just started to use the Apollo Solo for like mobile gigs because the plugins are great, and if I didn't need that much plugins for like a podcast, or if someone is doing a voiceover, I would have just used a Solo. So I got this, and then I realized with me liking the plugins and then stacking the plugins, I realized that this wasn't powerful enough. So I said to myself, I'm not gonna buy the X4, which it's like two of these together. It's kind of like wider and beefier, and it has like 4 DSPs in it. So I just said to myself, instead of spending that much, I might as well spend a little bit more and get the X8. Now, if I went with the X8 first, I wouldn't have purchased the X2. But both of them together, daisy chain together, I got power for days. Like, I ain't got nothing to worry about. Yeah, so let's show you what it looks like on the software side. So let me share my screen again. Hold up, before I do that, let me pull up the Apollo. All right, let me minimize you, my boy. You're no longer needed. Boom. And let me get the Apollo software. All right, boom. I like this mode. Yeah. Don't worry about my social stream ninja. My business. All right, so yeah. So this is the Apollo interface that if you get an Apollo, you get this. Yeah, this is how you control your Apollo. So I have a ton of plugins. So this is my signal chain for the U87. I have another signal chain for like boom microphones. This is the Sennheiser 8050 as well as the Sheps. I need to make 2 more signal chains because even though the Neumann is like my go-to microphone, like if I'm doing voiceovers, it's good for my voice. There's a second microphone that I really like. That is this microphone right here. Hold on. Now it's cheaper than the U87, probably like half the price, but is so difficult? Yeah, this right here, this bad boy right here. All right, let me set this up so you guys can see it properly. Boom. All right, let me go back here. Boom. Boom. And focus it. This right here. Love this microphone. Let me move the Logitech out. This microphone is OD. This is the AKG C414. Beautiful microphone. It has a lot of different polar patterns on it. Make sure you guys can see it. As you see, it's a reference recording microphone. Now, microphones like these only make sense if your room is somewhat treated. It doesn't have to be 100% treated because some people might not have the funds to do that. I surely don't have the funds, and I'll do that when I get my own house. But as of right now, this is good enough. So this is a microphone that I'll be using like if I'm on the go, and because I don't travel with the Neumann. Because if that drops, it's problems. I would travel with this. So this on my voice is pretty good as well. So this is my travel microphone. Like if I'm doing a voiceover or if I'm doing a podcast, I like this microphone. It's great. It's super great. So yeah. Let me put this back up. Oh. There we go. Now let's go to the software section. So all of these apps all of these different plugins is what causes my voice to sound the way it does. So the first thing I have is the SSL. And if you have a Neumann and if you have the, tripping. Yeah. So if you have the Neumann and if you have the Apollo, you can copy these settings if you want. I mean, your voice, I don't know, just use this for reference because your voice doesn't sound like mine. So these settings work for my voice. As you see, I do a lot of cut in. So I cut out high frequencies. I cut out high mid frequencies. I cut out a lot of low mid frequencies as well because my voice can be kind of nasally. And as well, I cut out low mids as well as low frequencies. So I did a lot of cutting on this mic because this mic is pretty true. So you cut out some of those annoying frequencies that you don't like to have a more rounded voice. So that's number one. That's the EQ. And then after the EQ, I did a compressor, which is the 1176. Yeah, which is 1176. As you see, it's a really fully engaged. It's only when I go pretty high up is when it becomes engaged. But if I'm speaking in my normal voice, yeah, it doesn't really. It's not engaging. So that's the setting. That's the way I like it. As you see, look at my attack. I have a pretty slow attack. So yeah, pretty slow attack and a pretty slow release. Yeah, that's it. That's all these things is what make my voice sound like what it does online. And another EQ, which is the Neve. This is the Neve 1073, and I did some cutting as well. I did add in the 700 kilohertz section. No, I didn't. That's more cutting. Yeah, I think I did all cutting and then add a bit to the low frequency, like 60 hertz. Yeah, I added a bit to boost that up a bit to give my low frequencies a bit more boominess. But that's just with the Neve. Now the Neve sounds like really good. Now I'll turn these off, and then I'll let you. That'll let you hear what my voice sounds like with just the U87 going through the Apollo. And this is my Teltronics. I keep forgetting what the zoom in button is, but the LA2A. And this is super engaged. Now this compressor is pretty high. So this is the compressor that is really working most of the time. And then the other one on top of this, which is the LA2A, that one, no, not the LA2A, which is the 1176. That one is just for shaping my voice. So yeah, that's it. So let's turn all these off. So this is what my voice sounds like without any of the plugins. So this is my voice just on the, hold on, let me get this out the way. Yeah, so this is my voice just on the Neumann running right to the Apollo. Does it sound good? Does it sound bad? Does it sound okay? Yada, yada, yada. But when I turn on all of these plugins, now you have what I usually sound like. And you see it gives my voice a bit more volume as well, so I don't have to be yelling. Yeah, so that's it. I also have plugins on system audio. Now the reason I have plugins on system audio is so when I'm playing a YouTube video, it sounds much better. What do I mean by this? So let's turn this off and let's play a YouTube video. Let me put up Safari. Let me play a copyright because, you know what I mean? YouTube be on something these days. I know this is copyright free.
2 times the stain fighting power for less. Tide free and gentle. Gentle on sensitive skin.
Old Spice shampoos are scientifically crafted to help guys achieve thick and healthy looking hair.
All right, cool. So that's without the plugins running through the Apollo. So let me turn the plugins on right now. Boom, boom, boom. Take that back to the top. It should sound better. So yeah, I got way more control over the audio, and that's how I like it. Once you start putting plugins on YouTube videos, bro, you can't go back, bro. Like, it sounds so much better. It sounds so much better. So yeah, that's why I use the Apollo. That's why I run my system audio through the Apollo. Now, how do I do this? How do I get my system audio into the Apollo? Let me move this real quick. So that is something you call audio MIDI. Now, audio MIDI is already built in. It comes with every Apple device. I don't know what you'll use on PC, but they must have something similar. So audio MIDI is just for you to like choose what's your main audio device. And yeah, and that's how I do the first layer of routing. Now, there's more routing that needs to be done. I ain't get there yet, but I'm gonna show you. Where is audio MIDI, bro? Applications, utilities, audio MIDI. All right, boom. So this is audio MIDI. Ignore all the other stuff because it can get pretty confusing. So you have my Apollo. So yeah, I also have the Rode as well, but we aren't focusing on that right now. So this right here, this is the universal audio. These are all of my outputs and all of my inputs. So the way I get the system audio in there is in outputs, you click configure speakers, and then you just set the left and right channels. So I forgot what it was originally, actually. But the left channel is virtual channel A, and the right channel is virtual channel B. And once you set that, you click apply and then done, and you're done with audio MIDI. That's all you need to do. Now you got to go back into the Apollo, and then like right here, you will combine virtual channel 1 and 2, like you will link both of them, and you will name that system. So if I was to go to, what is it? Settings. Yeah. So in settings, you will see all of your different outputs right here. So I have, since I have two Apollos, I could have chose virtual channel B, virtual 1, B virtual 2, and that will go through the Apollo Twin X, but I want my audio to be coming through, the system audio to be coming through the X8, just because it's easier to access, but it doesn't really matter. So whatever you set in audio MIDI, you would configure that accordingly in your Apollo console, and that's it. And the cool thing about it as well, so you see right here, I have DAW. So I have virtual channels 3 and 4 inside of the DAW. So when I open up something like Logic, or if I get Pro Tools and I want to play audio from that, I can route it to this right here. And if I don't want you guys to hear it before I hear it, I can mute this, boom, and I can only hear it. And then when I want you to hear it, boom, you guys hearing it. So you can just get way more control, a lot more control over your audio. So that's how I route it through the Apollo. Now, part B, it isn't done. So I get something as well called loopback audio. So with loopback audio, now this is where it gets really hairy. You gotta be careful with loopback, especially loopback with Ecamm. You gotta be extremely careful with loopback in Ecamm, because Ecamm is great. Ecamm is wonderful. Ecamm is spectacular. It's really good on how simple it is. It's good on the graphics. It's good on video. It's good on making different scenes. And it's very simple to use. But when it comes to audio, it is very limited, extremely limited in what you can do. Now, for instance, everything that I'm doing is coming through loopback. my universal audio. So I route that to the left and right channel of the system. And then I'm able to choose. So I named this streaming right here. I named this streaming. So I'm able to choose this virtual audio channel and add it in Zoom, add it in Ecamm, and etc. That's the simple part. Now the issue is that I don't know what it is with Ecamm, but like the audio cancellation, like if multiple people are speaking, like if I have if I have one guest, everything works fine, because as you see, let me play a.
Nice.
You see, look at my channel 19 and 20.
Nice. Nice.
Now I have those running in the left and right channel, and it's coming through Ecamm's microphone channel, and that's how you guys are hearing me. Now, if I was to remove these two, like, what is it? Command delete. Command delete. Yep. If I was to remove those two and play the sound effects, you guys aren't able to hear that at all. So that's what I have to do. Left and right. So you guys can hear the system audio. So when I'm playing a video, running it through plugins, that's how you guys are able to hear that in Ecamm. The issue is, if I have more than 2 guests, if I have 1 guest, everything is fine. Everything is Gucci. I think the echo cancellation works well because they don't hear themselves again, like the doubling of voice. I don't hear myself. I don't hear myself doubling the voice. But when I have 2 guests, that's when everything goes haywire. I don't know what it is that causes that, but everyone is hearing themselves 2 times. So what I have to do when I have 2 guests, I have to remove these 2 channels. Boom and boom. And then everything is back to normal. I don't know. This doesn't happen with Zoom. Zoom is 100% fine when it comes to this sort of thing. I can have multiple people and nobody would hear themselves. It's just with Ecamm that this happens. So that's the short remedy that I have to do until Ecamm fixes that issue. But yeah, so that is mainly audio in a nutshell. Am I missing anything? Let me see. Okay. Yeah, so that is my audio chain. And the type of computer I have is nothing fancy. I mean, it was fancy at the time, but now it's not that fancy. Hold on. Let's see. Storage. Yeah, all it is a 12-core Mac Pro, and it has 96 gigs of RAM. Now, you don't have to worry about how much RAM I have. You don't have to worry about how much RAM you have if you buy a Apple Silicon machine. If you buy like even an M1 with 16 gigs of RAM for streaming, you are good to go. You will never max out the processor. I don't think you'll even max out the RAM. Those things are just that good. Now, if you do M2, M3, whatever, you're fine. You're completely fine. The only reason I went with this, like I said in the previous video, is because the Mac Studio wasn't out yet. And the Mac Studio and this cost the same amount. So if I just waited like 2 months, I would have purchased the Mac Studio instead of this. I'm still kind of happy that I went with this because I have multiple PCIe slots. So I have two graphics cards, one at the bottom that came with it, and the one at the top, which is AMD graphics card. And then I have a whole bunch of slots. So in one of these slots, I put a SSD array in RAID 0. That way I'm able to have like 8 terabytes of super fast SSD storage. I think I'm doing like 7,000 or something like that with read and write speeds. So that's the good thing about it. I can put multiple of those in there. The thing about the M1s or the M2s or M3s, whatever you buy from Apple, that's it. That's it until the computer is completely done with. So before you commit to buying an M series machine, you have to know what you're using it for. Now, if you're only using it for streaming, you have another computer to do all your editing and all your other work, that's fine. You can go with close to the base. You can do the base processor and you can get away with 16 gigs of RAM. You can do 256 gigs of storage because that computer is only being used for streaming. Now, if you're using that computer for multi-purpose reasons, for streaming, for work, for editing, you're gonna have to put a little bit more thought into it. I would go with nothing lower than the mid-tier of the M3 art when the M4 comes out. At least 32 gigs of RAM. At least 32 gigs of RAM. And yeah, the graphics is whatever, because those things are so efficient, and yeah, you don't got to worry too much about graphics unless you're doing like 3D rendering or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. That's it. And I have a little bit more stuff now. If you don't have the Apollo, or if you don't have any fancy audio interface, but you still want to add plugins to your voice, you can get something called, let me see, Audio Hijack. Now, Audio Hijack is from Rogue Amoeba. Am I saying that right? Rogue Amoeba or Rogue Amoeba? Created by... I gotta do an update, huh? Skip for now. Yeah, this right here, Audio Hijack. Now, this is a really good piece of software. Really good piece of software. Now, the way I have this set up is that I have a LUFS meter. So this will show me how loud I am. So if I was to run this, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it doesn't make any sense. Testing. Of course it isn't running. Yeah, it's not running. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix this live. Streaming. Yeah, there it is. That's because everything is going through streaming. Now I can see how loud I am. Now this comes in handy if you have like a remote guest, like if you're doing a Zoom and etc. and you're trying to test how loud they're going to be. You can run this. Okay, move around. Thank you. You can run this, and that way when the participant comes in to Zoom on the pre-show, you can see how loud they are. And if they aren't hitting like minus 23 LUFS, you can have them do some adjustments. So when you start to go live, you would be able to match in volume. Yeah, so that's why I'd use this for. Great tool. Okay, you can stop now. So, and you can have multiple presets. Now you see, I have this right here. It's just the mic audio, and this is running this is saving to a WAV file. So if I was to run this, all this would be doing is recording my audio. So if I was to do like a tutorial video on this is Ecamm, or this is how to set up a universal audio, you can run this, save your voiceover, and then you can have your WAV file, and then you can edit that in post. Beautiful. Completely beautiful. Now the other one is the system audio. Now, if you're doing like some sort of reaction, then you want to save the system audio, like the richness of the system audio. You have your low end, your mids, and etc. You can run this, and this will save your system audio. Now, you don't have to put the universal audio in the middle. I just did that because that's what my system audio is running through. But you would replace this with the system audio right here, and then save that to the WAV file. So when you run this, your system audio is automatically being saved. And you can run multiple profiles or settings at the same time. What are these things called? These are called, well, I'm gonna call them profiles. Sessions. Yeah, that's the right name. You can create multiple sessions. You can run multiple sessions at the same time. So again, if you're doing a voiceover, you can run this one, which is recording your audio, and this one, which is recording your system audio. Now, right here, I have both of them together. You can create a session and just have both of them running together. So at the top, you can have system audio, and at the bottom, you can have WAV file, and this will make two separate WAV files, one for your mic and one for your system audio, if you just want to put them together. And you can put a whole bunch of other things in here as well. Just create the audio. You can create like the audio from an application. Yeah, you can do a whole bunch of things in here. Now, for the fun part, what I was talking about in the beginning, let's just create a dummy session. This is what it looks like when you create a new one. Let's create a blank one. It's called Untitled. So what I'm gonna do is get the microphone, so the capture device, and then you will select the device. So my audio capture device is streaming, and let me put a plugin on here. Where's auto tune? I got too much plugins, I ain't gonna lie. Auto tune effects. Yeah. So if I run this, technically, I don't want streaming because streaming has all the other plugins. So let me do, I think it's 31. My microphone is 31. Left and right should be the same thing, so you have stereo. It's actually dual mono, and it didn't work. Hold on, what are my inputs? What are my mic settings? Oh, I can just look at loopback. Loopback will give me a better idea. 35. Okay, cool. My mic is 35. So I do 35 left, 35 right. And then I'll run that. Testing, 1, 2, 3. I wonder if it sounds different. It would be crazy. No, I think I need to choose. Testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I want to see how that sounds. But in essence, this is how you will get plugins on your voice without like the fancy audio interface. And the thing is, you can also record it to a WAV file. You can also do scripts for full automation, which is OD. But yeah, okay, those are my, I want to output it to, a channel. Built-in effects, outputs. Okay, so my output device, as you see, they already have, ooh, see, testing. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully you guys are hearing the difference, because I can hear the auto-tune in full effect. So this is full auto-tune. Now if I do a different key, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully it works. Let me turn this off. Hopefully it works, because if it doesn't work, I just sound crazy online. But that's essentially what you can do. As you see, you can also do like live stream. Output it to a live stream, and then output it to a broadcast. You can do so much things with Audio Hijack. It's a really good app, and it's not that expensive. So let me just delete the whole thing. What? Why did it crash? Hopefully that didn't delete everything. I'll be tight. Reopen. Oh, that's just my OS. Hold on, let me get Audio Hijack again. All right, cool. Boom. Delete you. Boom. There we go. All right, yeah. So that's about it. That's basically what I do for live stream. It's a pretty simple, pretty complex. It's only really complex with the audio. The audio is the most complex thing. Everything else is, pretty basic. When it comes to video, lighting definitely is pretty basic. And then the Ecamm like plugin section, like with the LUT and etc. That's what makes it look the way it looks. But audio is the most complicated. It sounds great because I spent time fine tuning it. That's the same thing you have to do. Or you can holler at me for a consultation. I can speed up the process. I can listen to your voice and get a good mic that fits in your budget. Now, if you're doing podcasts and etc., or even if you're doing live stream, SM7B is not for everybody. I'll say it again. The SM7B is not for everyone. I know you see a lot of YouTubers. I know you see Joe Rogan. You see a whole bunch of people with the SM7B. It's a good mic, but it's not for everyone. There's certain mics I would definitely choose over the SM7B. That's in the same budget as of the SM7B. So things like the Electro Voice or E20, 100% choose that over the SM7B. I really can't talk on that because I'm the same person with a a Neumann and a CLS 414. But yeah, depending on the timbre of your voice, RE20 will suit you better than an SM7B. They're even cheaper mics. You can even get away with a Rode SM58, but that depends if you like the handheld microphone in your shot, or you can do things like a boom microphone. Boom microphones are good if you don't want a mic in your shot. Something like the Sennheiser. The Sennheiser 8050 is good. The Sennheiser MKH50 is good. But all of those microphones are over $1,000. So it depends. It depends. But if your budget is like around $200, hold on. There's a Rode microphone that is really good. Now most Rode microphones they don't sound that great. I ain't gonna hold you. They don't sound that great. But this Rode microphone, where's mine? I'll show you. Cause I got it saved. Let me see if I can pull it up at B&H. What? Is B&H closed? Is the site down? Can't be. BH photo. What do you mean this site is down? It can't be reached. Check if am I online? What's going on? But I need B&H though, because that's where I got it saved. I got it saved in my playlist, in my wish list, my fault. Okay, let me try Amazon, because I don't know what's up with B&H. I know they're on Passover right now, but it's like the website is on Passover too. Rode. Is it, what is that mic, bro? Is it the NT1? I think it's the NT1. Yeah, I think it's this one right here. Like 250? This is a pretty good mic. Oh, they still selling older generations? I mean, you go with the older generation if it saves you money. So yeah, this NT1, it sounds pretty good. Now you still must have like, what? Okay, cool. Okay, stop playing. Now you still must have like a good enough audio interface. Yeah. And proper cables. Now, the cable I recommend is the Canary Star Quad. World's best cables is good. Like this right here, L4E6S. Yeah. The L4E6S. That's a good cable. Don't mind this price. That's for 6 of them. Let me see if I can find the price of one of them. Let's see, a 15-foot cable is $26 for the same L4E6S. Great cable. And it has, okay. Does this have Nortric connectors? I prefer Nortric connectors because they are tried and tested. Yeah, this one with Nortric connectors. So you get this cable, can't go wrong. You see that? 10-year warranty. Audio interface. Why is B&H not working for me, bro? Okay, now you working? All right, whatever. Universal audio. This right here. this is pretty decent. I see, it's a good budget audio interface. You have that. You have your NT1 and a good Canary, what you call it, XLR in there. Man, you're good to go. You're good to go. The preamps of these are pretty good. Don't look for Apollo type of quality. This is just really basic, and you can't do plugins either. But hey, you can always do plugins in Audio Hijack. But this is great. This is great. Your audio will be a lot better. A lot better. Yeah. That's about it. So, again, it doesn't have to be that complicated for you to start live streaming. Obviously, if you invest in high quality equipment and like professional equipment, like the things you can do with them is far greater than those consumer things like with the Rodecaster and etc. Rodecaster is really good, but to really refine your sound, you're gonna have to use like external plugins and etc. Camera is simple. Yeah, and I'm streaming in 24 frames per second, so you don't need something. You don't need a cam link. You don't need to stream 4K. You don't need to do 60 frames per second. It's not a must because I'm doing 1080p, 24 frames per second, and this looks much better than some 4Ks that I've seen. So just get your principles down. Get proper lighting. Get a proper lens. Get a proper camera, and do 24 frames per second. You know, it's gonna look good. If you found this video educational, give it a like. Make sure to leave a comment. And if this video inspired you to do a live stream setup, please at me. I want to see it. I definitely want to see it. 100% see it. It's inspiring. I can't even talk. It's inspiring for all of us. So yeah, get out there and stream, man. Stream to wherever. YouTube, Twitch, wherever. No excuses. So other than that, I wish the best for you guys, the best for your family. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace.